Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video about how to transition from traditional art to digital. And this is just like beginner steps, things to practice and start with to get used to using a different medium. Now this is going to take a lot of practice on your end. I can only give you some tips and advice of how I started. A lot of this is going to be different for each person and for each artist. And really, you have to take the initiative to practice using different tools, different methods, and see what works for you and what you like to do. But I'm going to do what I can to try and get you started and give you some tips on giving a proper slow transition without overwhelming yourself. So here I have some scanned in sketches that I did with ink, just regular ballpoint pen. I think that if you're transitioning, you should scan in an artwork or even take a picture of it with your phone. It doesn't have to be super good. And bring that into Krita or whatever program you want. And start kind of basically tracing your art. So I'm just going to use a different color. I'm not even going to try and use a different layer mode or change the opacity. I'm going to keep it really simple. Let's just go over with the blue. Make a new layer. And I'm gonna, can't even see that, I'm sorry. Make this bigger here. And by making this bigger quickly, I'm just holding the shift button down and dragging left and right. But you can also change it up here. I'm just gonna go through and start slowly kind of making that shape. And kind of filling that in just like I would in pen. And if I don't like it, Control-Z is my best friend. And I recommend doing this a few times just to get a feel for how this works with your own sketches. Eventually, you'll start to get used to how that, how using a tablet or whatever kind of drawing device you're using, how that works and how that feels in your hand. When I first started using a tablet, the hardest part was the hand-eye coordination. You're so used to looking down when you draw that when you look up and you start moving your hand, you really have to practice to get that coordination going. So now, after I've been doing this using a tablet for years, so I don't have to worry too much about the hand-eye coordination thing, but it can be a crazy thing to get used to. I really recommend just practicing with it, doing a little bit at a time. Just trace your art. Don't worry about it being super perfect either. Like, you don't like it, obviously undo it, but it's not coming out the exact way. Like if your line's still coming out over here because you're still getting used to it, that's okay. You can always undo it and, get back to it. Another thing that I had to get used to was because I would draw on smaller pieces of paper, I'd be using my wrists. So I'd be basically drawing my stuff like this, and it'd be really small, it'd be kind of hard to see. I'm just getting like the gesture down. On your tablet, you have a bigger surface, and on your screen, it's like twice the size. You need to make sure you're using your whole arm to draw with, and that's going to give you better strokes, just like you would on paper. It also helps keep your wrist from hurting. I would recommend doing large strokes as well. So even though we're not going to make a perfect circle for this guy, I'm actually do this. Even though this isn't exact, the more I do it, the closer I'm going to get. I'm not going to worry about being perfect. So once you've kind of traced over your own work from your scan or your photo, you should be a little bit more comfortable using a digital program, a digital tablet, all that fun stuff. It will take some time. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It took me probably a couple weeks before I got comfortable even starting something from scratch in digital. But for the longest time, I just scanned my stuff in and then colored it on the computer. That's all I did. So if you want to do that, now we're going to go into something a little bit I guess, classier, what we used to do back in the day, people still do, you should take that file, that layer that your scanned photo is in, you want to duplicate it, and you're going to want to change that top one to multiply. And then you can make a new layer in between them, then you can just start coloring that in. So the whole point of having the two layers was in case you, I don't know, needed the bottom layer for something as a reference. You know, it's good to keep an original just in case. You know, without it, it's not as dark. You can start coloring that in. And if you want to just color sketches in like that, that's a really good way to get used to using a pen and a tablet as well. I know I've gone over the Colorize Mask tool, which makes this super easy, but I recommend not using that until you're comfortable making brush strokes with a digital tablet and pen. And really, it's nice. You can just kind of color it in, not worry too much about the lines or how sloppy it is. You get a chance to really play with the tools a little bit, move your pen cursor around the screen, you know, tapping and clicking and all that stuff. It's a simple enough task that you can start building up that muscle memory of how this pen is going to work and how you can find yourself getting comfortable with the new software and the hardware of the tablet. That's another way of getting comfortable with it. And as far as brushes go, I've always been a pen and ink person. Whatever program I've used, I've always tried to use the ink pens. So in Krita, we're going to go to, it was here, ink, and yeah, it's the ink 3G pen. And that's what I started to use. A lot of people don't. A lot of people will go to digital, and they will use an airbrush. That's an airbrush. Yeah, something like this. And that's like in Photoshop. And what that does is it's not a completely opaque stroke. A lot of people use this for the line work, a lot of people use it for coloring, and it's not, you know, it's not a bad idea. So you can actually go through and kind of blend a lot easier with that. There we go, I've just shaded the bump. So if you want to use the airbrush tool to start with, that's totally fine. Yeah, it's... You can see, like, instantly you're already getting an interesting kind of appearance for this. Little pumpkin. Actually, make... That's what a lot of people will use, is the airbrush. I never liked it. I've always used, again, you go to Krita and then you go to your drop down menu on your brushes, go to ink and the yellow one. That'll be the easiest way to remember it. And that's what I do. I actually have one that I kind of customized a little bit just to... I think it's really just the aliasing that I changed a little bit. It's not as soft compared to this one. I think I changed the pressure as well. It's just little things that I changed. But I always use the ink one. And also, like, it gives you a finer line usually. And then once you get used to doing basic strokes and using, you know, the tablet, and you're now like, oh yeah, I can draw some circles, you know. Look at that. Oh my god, I'm never gonna be able to do this again. Look at this. I'm making circles. Once you're comfortable doing this, like, they're not going to be perfect, so please don't think they're going to be perfect. Alright, so once you're comfortable enough, like, even if your circle turns out like that, that's fine. You're close enough to get more comfortable. This is where I recommend getting used to using multiple layers, because as you're starting off drawing, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, which is fine, which is good. And you're also going to be struggling a lot getting things down. So if they make a pose here. Sitting here. Okay, well, that's good enough. You get the idea. Great, now I'm wrapped up in this. Once you get the idea of your drawing, you're still gonna have a little bit of trouble getting used to, you know, refining your shapes in a way that you can't rotate your paper as easily. It's not that intuitive. So now you're going to be getting into learning to rotate your canvas digitally, which is the 4 and 6 arrow keys on your keyboard, or you can use this as well to get a smoother, less specific rotation. And you're going to have to learn to basically draw on an angle, you know, without moving your paper. Hit 5 to go back to the original position. Obviously this isn't great. You get the idea. Horrifying. Once you get that down, I recommend making another layer, lowering the opacity on the first one, and then just kind of continuously drawing over it until you start to refine that shape more. And then as you get more comfortable, you get to use less and less layers. You don't have to spend as much time doing this. You can be like, oh, well, here's my body, you know, the head, shoulders, you know, all that crazy stuff. You won't use as many layers. I found out that I only use 2 now. Sometimes I only use the 1. As I've learned to use tools and the techniques a little bit better. And really it's just practice from there. There isn't too much else to it other than practice. But those are just some things that I did when I was transitioning from traditional to digital that might help you in your journey as well. It's just a few minor things, nothing crazy, no big steps, no magic buttons. Just really simple tasks that you can do as an artist to practice using a digital program or software or whatever to make your art. I hope this video was helpful for those that are looking to transition from traditional to digital. If these tips were helpful, let me know. If you're looking for something more specific, like maybe, I don't know, perspective, I do have videos about how to use the perspective grids in Krita, so I would recommend looking at those. If you have other questions, I guess just let me know in the comments below, or if you have recommendations for videos, I would always welcome those. You can definitely let me know in the comments as well. Alright, so that was going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hey there, thanks for watching this video. I just wanted to share some cool news with everybody. I have my first Kickstarter up and live and running right now. Currently, I'm at $62 out of $400, and the goal is to make 100 baby pumpkin enamel pins, which is this guy right here on the screen. Right now, I have 25 days to go as of this video and as of this recording. If you would like to support this project or share it with others that you know would love to have a baby pumpkin of their own, definitely do that. The link will be in the description below. And if you want to support, I just want to let you know that there are extra stretch goals as well. For $1, you just get a thank you from me, which is still very much appreciated. The $10 tier, you get a 1.25-inch enamel pin of this baby pumpkin design. And eventually, if we can get to the stretch goal of 700, we get a second pumpkin design of this cute little grumpy pumpkin. Look at his little cheeks. And we also get a sticker at 500 of the pumpkin prince and a baby pumpkin who was not too thrilled of being on top of his head. And once we get the baby pumpkin number 2 unlocked, that will be available for purchase. If you have any questions about the Kickstarter, you can email me, you can comment on the Kickstarter itself, or message me on Kickstarter. You can tweet at me, comment below. Wherever you can reach me, I am available when I'm awake. Thank you again for all of your support. I hope you check out my Kickstarter, and I hope you get a chance to back it. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys later.